internet. I'm Sarah. I'm the director of Much Ado About A Webseries, and with me is...
Madeline. I am the writer, and I also play B.
And does our audio, and does our editing, and does a million other things on the show.
Because we have no crew! Woo!
So in December, was it December or November?
In a month, many moons ago, approximately 4 fortnights,
we asked you guys if you had any questions for us, and you did, so we're going to answer them.
We have
right
notepads even. We're so official.
Yeah.
I love it.
And
then... Ollie's gotta... There you go, Ollie.
Anyway, so, Madeline?
Oh, am I the first?
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay. This is to all the cast members from Jessica Lynn via Facebook, asked, what was your favorite scene to film and why?
Okay, so this is a 13-part answer. So what we're going to do with this one is we'll have everyone's answers, the entire cast as well as myself, our answers in a Tumblr post. We'll post that
Tumblr post
right before the video, and the link to that post will be in the description box.
Woo!
So, yeah, look out for that. Next question is, to the writer, which is you.
It's me.
What made you want to use a sweet Margaret?
Oh, a sweet Margaret. Well, I was partway through writing when we cast the show. I had about half of it written when we cast the show. So I knew the actress who was playing Margaret, and that somewhat informed my writing of her because Melissa, who plays Margaret, is just the sweetest, most fantastic girl in the world.
She is.
I love you, Missy. But also, I think part of it is that sometimes Margaret can get demonized, but I feel like Margaret, my reading and my understanding of the play, the source text, is that, you know, Margaret didn't realize what she was doing. She just thought she was having a good time. She was really a pawn in this scheme. She wasn't... I don't think she had any malicious intent. In her interactions with Hero and with Beatrice and with Ursula and all the other characters, there's no malice in her, but she just, you know, she gets a little taken advantage of, and I don't think that's through any malicious intent of her own.
No,
so.
I've never seen a Margaret played maliciously in any of the productions I've seen, all 2 of them.
So,
and also knowing that Melissa was going to be playing this part before we wrote it was the case for everybody. So that happened in a few different cases, that knowing who these actors were going to be informed some of their character.
Absolutely. Not necessarily that it changed their character, but that we could play to the actor's strengths. We knew Sam had fantastic comedic timing. We
didn't know that she didn't watch Game of Thrones. We got to the read-through with the entire cast, and we read, not all the episodes, but most of them, and we got to episode 8. And the line where Baracchio is like, so, now that Joffrey's dead, and Marjorie's all over Tom and all that, we get to that line, and Sam starts stumbling over the names. And we were like, wait, hold on. Do you not watch Game of Thrones? And she's like, I watched the end of the first episode once. And we just assume all of our friends watch the show. And
we were wrong.
We were wrong.
So.
And then back to actors informing character. Benedict's eyeliner wasn't a thing until we cast Andy.
I've worked with Andy before, and I knew both that A, he looked good in eyeliner, and B, that he would hate me for making him wear eyeliner.
He loved the eyeliner eventually.
He did. It grew on him.
4 weeks into production.
After it melded with his skin and he couldn't get it off.
Yeah. Okay. What's your next question?
Okay. What kind of locations did you guys use to film in?
Anything we could.
That was free?
That was free. We're amateur filmmakers. This is our first project, so we really just used any locations we could. Anything in Hero and B's apartment we shot in my house, because it was pretty big. The dressing room things were also shot in my house. Episode 3, in kind of the storage room, was shot in my house.
For the stuff at the record label, we're fortunate that we were able to use the university I go to Point Park, so we were able to use that, all the scenes in the practice room. Shout out to Catherine Grotzinger! Woo! For reserving that room for us. And we also worked with the student radio station. They let us use their facilities, so shout out to WPPJ.
That was definitely the toughest location to find. We must have emailed, or you must have emailed, every college and professional radio station in the Pittsburgh area where we're from and where our entire cast currently lives. The outdoor scenes were just all within locations within walking distance of where we all live. So, and then where we shot the EP launch and the Giddy Things gig in Aragon was at a church, actually.
You know, super wholesome.
Yeah, and then actually the bit where they were driving around, was shot in the parking lot. So those were our locations.
So if you are looking to film something, I would say just reach out to anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
The worst they can do is say no, and you never know who's gonna say yes. Like, some people surprised us.
Yeah, absolutely. And and be flexible too. We were originally going to shoot a lot more in the recording studio, but because it took longer than we planned to find it, we had to go back and look, okay, what actually has to be in the recording studio, but what can we move to other places, like the practice room?
Yeah, the practice room actually came about after we realized we weren't going to have as much time to film in the recording studio as we wanted. Then we said, okay, we can split this into 2 different locations. And I think that actually worked out better as far as storytelling, too.
I like that it made Messina feel a little bit bigger, because you were seeing a little bit more of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those were our locations. Next is, do the actors improv lines at all, and are any left in, or do they mainly stick to the script, especially when it comes to the credit clips? A bit of both.
Yeah, a bit of both. A lot of the credit clips are sort of...
None of the credit clips were scripted at all, except for the very, very last one in episode 22. When after Madelyn had written the script, I took it and then wrote my shooting script version of it. And when I did that, I wrote in, at the end of every episode, an idea of what I wanted to happen. Like, oh, Hero and B are doing the 10 minutes of bad puns. Dogberry and Burgess are playing MASH. And then when we would get to set to shoot those, I would just tell the actors kind of, this is what I want, and let them go.
What were some good, aside from credits, there were also some good improv lines just in general. There were a lot of improv swear words in this show that were not originally in the script.
There were not.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, sorry about that, Mom.
But
for the most part, the actors stayed pretty faithful, and a huge advantage of having the writer on set almost every day was
a lot of times if people would improv, like if they
Same Messina.
Yeah, Same Messina was a lot. In first or second episode, Benedict, Pedro comes in and Benedict's like, I'm not a Boy Scout. That was Andy's ad-libbing.
That was Andy's ad-lib. I kept that in mostly because Benedict might not be a Boy Scout, but Andy is.
So yeah.
Episode 5, Hey Camera Chick, You Want to Make Out.
Also ad-libbed.
Ad-libbed.
There were, I mean, a lot of actors stayed true to the script. Anything that was ad-libbed wasn't a replacement so much as an addition to the text. And it was nice being on set. I could say, yeah, that works great. Keep it.
Yeah.
You know?
So, yeah.
Next. This next question is from Spaghetti 3 Times via Tumblr. She says, Alyssa Lavaca is so pretty. How were you able to work with her without being completely intimidated by her beauty, grace, poise, and talent?
We love Alyssa. Madelyn? The reason we're laughing so much is because Alyssa sent this question. We love Alyssa very much.
I was intimidated by Alyssa's grace, beauty, and poise, and I continue to be intimidated by it every day, particularly when I see her making macaroni and cheese in her pajamas in our shared kitchen.
Yeah, Hero and B live together in real life.
In real life!
Which is pretty funny.
We never tire of one another.
Had to work very, very hard to not let the attractiveness of my cast get in the way of my job.
Our cast is so beautiful.
Aren't they?
I'm sorry, I just want everyone to know our cast looks great. They're so photogenic and beautiful and talented. This isn't really part of the Q&A, but I just want everyone to know that our cast is awesome and beautiful and talented and beautiful.
Yes, very beautiful. Okay. So, when did the clapping to start a take thing start? Was it the plan, or did you guys just enjoy it so much that you started doing it? That served a purpose, actually.
Yeah, so because do you want to cover?
Yeah. If any of you have seen any behind-the-scenes features or anything on a movie or on a TV show, they have the black and white clapboards that have written on them the scene number, the take number, all that. And that's so that in post-production, when you're editing, the video editors and the sound engineers know when to match up their files. So that the video editors have the motion of the clapboard coming down, and the audio engineers have that sound. We did not have a clapboard.
Because we broke.
So through kind of trial and error, mostly because I can't snap, we realized that kind of the best way to do that was to have an actor clap like that in frame, so that when Madelyn was doing our editing, she would know where to match up stuff.
And then it was kind of fun because it started off with, like, maybe me running on clapping, but the actors got, like, really into it and would start to fight over who could clap.
Yeah, it's in the bloopers. Everyone wanted to be the clapper, and
so, I mean, that made my life easier.
Yeah. And since our actors are all goofballs, Stanley had trouble starting takes when he was the one clapping.
Something we learned from this process is clapping is way harder than you think it's gonna be.
Yes, to get a good sound that's usable.
Yeah.
I lost track of how many times I told Andy that his clapping was terrible. Yeah. That might have been Stanley, actually.
Might have been a lot of the cast.
So yeah. So, both. It was in the plan, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
Oh. Our next question is addressed to Benedict. This is from officially Elizabeth Barton on Tumblr, and she says, "Where did you buy your eyeliner, Benedict? It looks smokin'." Benedict's response. We have very official answer cards here.
And this is actually Benedict answering. We sent it out to Andy, and he answered.
Benedict says, "Midnight Black Smashbox eyeliner. I get it off Amazon because it's cheaper, and it beats getting weird looks at the checkout line in Target." There you have it.
There you go. Straight from
Smashbox. Yes.
Okay, so then
Straight
my
from the
next
dick
question is actually a question for Andy. Again, we sent it out to him, and he answered. And the question is, to the actor who plays Benedict, where did you draw inspiration from for the character? Was the decision to make him turn out to be so sweet despite being the band's bad boy something you decided on, or was it more inspired by the director and the script? And his very lengthy response is...
Such an eloquent boy.
What do you expect? He's an English major. Most of what I drew on came from Madelyn's script and the original play. In both, Benedict starts out loud-mouthed and full of himself, but becomes sweeter and more sincere as he falls in love with Beatrice. We also shot almost all of Benedict's character arc in reverse, so part of the progression you see on screen is me going from acting more like myself to acting like a self-absorbed punk rock wannabe. I didn't realize that until he pointed that out, but we really did shoot him pretty in reverse.
Same with Beatrice. Pretty much all of Beatrice and Benedict's scenes got shot in reverse, so we went from loving each other to hating each other so much.
Yeah, I mean, Andy's very first day on set, we started with episode 20. That was the very first thing he shot. And then after we finished that same day, we went into episode 11. So a lot happens between those two episodes, and he had to go one right into the other. And he was right. We did kind of get to ease him into acting like an asshole.
It's very challenging for him.
It is.